I can stop spending money on this kind of endless road of solutions to this death wobble, because now we've fixed it. Well, this is awkward. Hello guys, welcome back to TSpec TV. As I'm sure you've gathered by now, my Defender is back in the workshop, and yeah, rather awkwardly for us, the death wobble is sort of not in fact gone, or steering wobble, whatever you want to call it. Some people got annoyed at calling it the death wobble because apparently that's a very specific case. But this steering wobble has manifested itself once again, despite the fact we have done almost everything. And I say almost everything because today we're going to be changing all of the trailing arm bushes. As you can see in front of me right here, we have a whole kit of FloFlex polyurethane bushes, which are the same exact ones as we put on Nissa's V890 a few years ago when he replaced the trailing arms, and these are much better than the standard rubber ones because they should last a hell of a lot longer, 3 to 4 times longer, I am led to believe, and they're also resistant to any oil or grease or anything like that, and will hopefully help the handling of the vehicle as well a little bit. So we're going to put these on and pray that this wobble will finally disappear, because frankly there's very few things I think left that can actually be causing this wobble. And another thing is that we swapped the wheels around front to back, as you know, and then that supposedly fixed the wobble. I did the update video, and then in another case, which I don't think we actually filmed or documented in any way, we swapped the wheels between this one and another near identical Td5 we have here on the farm. We swapped the wheels around, took them both out, and neither of them wobbled. So we're thinking maybe that the fact that we've changed wheels around twice now, and for sort of a week after that the wobble disappeared, that maybe when we're fiddling with the Defender and lifting it up and putting it back down again, that it's kind of moving the trailing arms around in the bushes, and that maybe it's adjusting them to the point where it's kind of not wobbling, and then after driving for a bit and going over potholes and whatever, they get knocked around again and back into a position where it is causing some kind of wobble. That is a completely you know, tinfoil hat kind of conspiracy theory here at this point, and we may as well just be using a Ouija board to try and fix the Defender at this point. But as I said, we're going to try and change these trailing arm bushes as well today, and foolishly I did not buy any new bolts with them as well, so we're going to have to reuse the original bolts. But the silver lining of that is that we can play with Nissa's new toy in the form of a sand blasting machine he has bought. So we're going to put all this on, and if this doesn't work, then I'm either going to set fire to my Defender, or we are going I guess down the route of the what's that thing called? Swivel pin, that's it, the swivel pin kit and all of that, and the swivel preload, because that's pretty much about the only thing we haven't done at this point to try and solve this wobble. So less chatting, more bush installer ring. Go.
So first job, let's take the wheels off, just so we can get better access underneath the vehicle. We should be able to get both of the rods here out, standing on the lift, as they're completely clear of the lift, of the hoist. Then it's just simply making sure the bolts are nice and clean before we start trying to take them apart. Once we've taken them apart, we're going to go out, sandblast them, make them look like new, and hopefully be able to reuse them. If we can't do that, we got some kind of bolts and nuts over there, and then maybe we can fix something up that's going to work for the car. But if we can't get them off, we're just going to cut them off and make some new ones in reality. But we're going to cross our fingers and hope they all come out. So we just went ahead and put this jack lift underneath here, pushed up the axle a tiny bit, just so we got a little bit less flexing on the trailing arms once we're going to take them off, just so we can get them as straight as possible. It's going to make it easier taking them off and easier to put everything back together. So now we're just going to loosen up this bolt up here, and after that we can take these ones back here. But do remember, once you take the trailing arms off, the axle are kind of floaty. They can go this direction now, both up and down, and back to front. So once you take it out, you might have to push it a bit to get the new ones in, but we're going to go over that once we get the new bushings installed into the trailing arms. So here we got my brand new toy, sandblasting cabinet. I got it in an auction, pretty much half price, which was pretty cool. What we're going to use it now for, just clean up around the edges here, just so we can see where it's bushing and where it's trailing arm, so we can push out the bush afterwards. I'm not going to do the bolts here. As you can see, they're like coated in some kind of black stuff, which is preventing rust from forming onto them. So we're just going to keep these like they are and reuse them. They're looking in very good condition. So probably a bit. Oh, we can be in here. Close them up. Alright. When I cleaned it a tiny bit, you can see the fresh metal here beneath it, and now you can actually see what is trailing arm and what is the outer sleeve of the bush. We're gonna push out. I'm gonna do this a bit more and then go on to the other side and do this bit. And I think this bit looks quite fine. We won't do that. It's only this bit down here, just to make sure we're not trying to push out the trailing arm, but actually the bush inside of it. Should be fine enough. Right now I'm just gonna fit up the press here. Should be pressing out the bushing. Should be a delicate job. We just discovered now whilst trying to take off the front trailing arm, we need to take the rear steering arm thing here off, otherwise it's gonna hit it once you try and take it out. So we just loosen up the two bolts here on both sides. We're gonna take it out, and after that we can take the front bit out here. So now we have done all the trailing arms, front and back, all nipped up with the correct torque setting according to the rave manual. What we got now is a panhard. We're going to do the bushes on this guy. We already did those a couple of months ago, and as you can see, they're already wearing out pretty badly. That could maybe be because of the shaking of the car. I've kind of loosened up the rubber here, but you see they're pretty much on their way out already. Both sides of it. So that bit happened when we took it out, but otherwise we're gonna swap these out with once we got the polyurethane one from the FloFlex guys once again, and fit those back up here because they're much better quality. I'm running the same ones on my V8, and that's about 2 years ago, and they are still looking like new, no tears or anything in them. So we're gonna do that now as the last bit of this job and go up and test them out and see if they actually work.
So everything has been put back together, so all that's left to do is go out for a little test drive. I'm going to start out by heading up this tarmac road here, which heads down to the Land Rover test track, where we filmed our recent Disco 2 versus Defender off-roading video, because then we can get a little bit of flex on and see whether it's still making these awful kind of creaking sounds that occur when you've got these worn out bushes. So they shouldn't happen anymore, because that was the same thing that happened to Nissa's V890 and it fixed it. But of course the major thing here is whether or not the steering feel has improved, and the ride and everything like that, and most importantly the wobble. Let's see if that has gone. Of course, it doesn't always appear straight away. Sometimes it can take a few days for it to suddenly reappear again, so this might not be a true test, but we can at least drive up there, see how it feels, because hopefully the handling has improved slightly. And if you want to know more about the fitting of the bushes and the trailing arms and everything, and you're disappointed about what we did in this video, then you can go and check out the video we did where we fitted the same bushes and brand new trailing arms to Nissa's V890 a couple of years ago, because we went into way more depth and detail there. We just didn't go into much detail today because we've basically done it already in that video. So if you want to see more about the actual bushes and trailing arms, then you can go check out that video. But we highly recommend the FloFlex bushes. We're very, very impressed with them. At least Nissa is with his V890, and I'm sure they'll be the same on this one, and they're not that expensive relative to other polyurethane bushes. Anyway, let's chat. Let's get out on the road. No one is coming. That gives me a clear road. That's nice. So I can put my foot down a bit. So now my steering wheel's a bit wonky because obviously with everything we did, it wasn't centered, and I just tried to center it, but it's obviously still not quite centered. So I'll have to readjust that. It's always a bit weird driving with an off-center steering wheel. Sorry, I have the plastic engine cover in the back, so that's sliding around in there a bit on these twisty roads. It does make some noise when you keep your foot down. Okay, it has really overgrown since we were here. That was not that long ago. Everything has shot up and gone very, very green since then. But no, you know what? Actually, let's do that log thing first before we go on to the flexing, because that'll also be a nice test. So what we're going to do is put it into low range and engage first gear. Pull away. I am going to open my window so I can really hear if there's any creaky sounds going on, like the Titanic on Nissa's 90. Nothing yet. This is one of the most awful obstacles to drive over because it just shakes you to bits. I'd love to try doing this in a modern Land Rover, or like one of the new Discos or Range Rovers, because they are just superbly comfortable. And wonder how much of that you would actually feel, because obviously in the Defender it's pretty rough. And then on with this obstacle, which isn't really relevant to this test, so we'll just drive over it. I know you meant to go slowly, but let's skip over this part. I think I stayed on. And then we're going to head over to the important bit where we're going to get some flex and see if these FloFlex bushes have done their job properly. So we got these big humps left and right at intervals, which are then going to send the wheels up into the arches. Still got a little bit of creaking. I think that might be the rear springs, which I also need to change, to be quite honest with you. So, because that is coming from the back, so I think that is the guilty party there. I don't think that's anything to do with the bushes, because they made the same sound just when we lifted the I was about to say car Defender up. And now we've got some potholes. Yeah, the springs are. Yeah, that's definitely springs, but nothing from the trailing arms. No creaking from the trailing arms, which is good. So that's obviously done the trick. We may as well, should we see it? This must be full of water. We've had rain the past couple of days, so always love a good water feature. Wait, no? Oh, a tiny bit. I might have to get out and take some pictures there. I guess I should probably do that on the flexi part, shouldn't I? Let's just go through the water. Very green and not very pleasant looking water. Oh, that smells lovely. Right, we don't need to go down the whole course because we did that in the previous video. We just wanted to test the flexing, so I'm just going to cheat and turn left here. And might go around back up to the flexi bit, take some pictures, and then head home. And we're going to make sure that everything has stayed where it should. And if not, we'll just tighten things up or adjust things or whatever we need to do. But other than that, we should be done for today. Right, so I'm going to head back home now and go for one quick spin on the tarmac here on the way back and see how it feels. Because I'm not that convinced, to be quite honest with you, that everything is as it should be. Well, let's see. handling may feel marginally better, but I'm still a little bit suspicious that there's something not right. So maybe we'll do the swivel pin repair kit that I have soon. And if I still think there's something wrong, or if there's still a wobble, then I'm kind of running out of ideas. But as I said previously, the wobble tends to, the last few times we've done something, it sort of goes away and then comes back again a few days later. So not quite sure what the deal is there, but yeah, we'll just keep going and see what happens, and obviously if things go wrong, we'll keep you updated. But anyway, I'm going to head back to the yard now and rendezvous with Nissa once again, and we'll just give everything the once over, and that'll be it for today. And then let's just, like I say, see what happens next. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll put a link, assuming I remember, to the FloFlex bushes that we used today in the description below, so you can go get them yourselves. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.